You are now listening to 15 Minutes of Fame Radio.
Let's go! We talked, and I've done plenty of interviews with y'all, you and Smack, about the Battle of the Sexes.
Right.
All right? The Battle of the Sexes card is going down October 16th. You guys are not part of it. Why and what happened? Why didn't the Battle of the Sexes that we had conversations about didn't happen? Why is it happening somewhere else and not on the URL?
Well, that was something that originated out on the West Coast, and the investor for it wanted to include West Coast MCs. As you know, the majority of the MCs on the URL are not from the West Coast, so he kind of wanted to do something to include the West Coast MCs. The good thing is that
because the idea came from them first.
Well, no, they were the investor. The investor is from the West Coast.
That was gonna do the URL and the Queen of the Ring.
No, we were doing that ourselves.
Okay.
URL does we front our own bread. You know what I'm saying? We put out, but this was a situation where the investor was ready, and he kind of wanted some of the guys over there to have that opportunity to kind of get that exposure, because, as we know, this is it is kind of like a East Coast West Coast thing too, and the investor for that particular event is based in the West Coast, and he kind of wanted to give the West Coast MCs opportunity to have that type of platform. So the good thing about it is it's going down on my man Debo's platform, which is going to be on Queen of the Ring. You know what I mean? So you're getting the Battle of the Sexes, but I mean, URL can't get everything. You know what I'm saying? So it's that made sense. The investor was there. He wanted to pay for that particular MCs. He wanted it to take place on the West Coast. Queen of the Ring is the East Coast brand, but if you notice, it's taking place on the West Coast. So, my man Debo's out there tapping shoulders and reaching arms and making things happen. That particular investor wanted to do something where if it was going to be on the West Coast, he wanted West Coast MCs, because I guess he felt that they could pull their fan bases out to kind of fill up the venue and make it a success. And I like the card, you know what I mean? And we can always still do a Battle of the Sexes, because that was the Battle of the Sexes versus the Fresh Coast, and now it can come back and we can do it on the East Coast. So I don't think that, at the end of the day, it boils down to how entertaining the battles are going to be. I think they're going to be great. I'm actually have some business out there, so I plan on going out there to check it out.
All right, Beasley,
Yes.
15 Minutes of Fame.
It's never 15 minutes when you're talking to me, man. I get my point across
That should
at
be the
every
slogan.
time, baby.
That should be the slogan.
I say what it is, man. Never get stumped, man. I've always got the answers, man.
You do, man, and that's what's dope about you.
Leave this part in the interview too.
But sometimes you just you because every time we do an interview,
Right.
I try to make sure this is something new.
Right.
And sometimes you start touching on things that we already discussed,
Right.
so I have
Because
to cut you off.
We should, and leave this part in. That we talk this frank part, because what it is that sometimes some of those things actually relate to the present issue at hand, and you can't assume that everybody saw every interview. But a lot of those key things that I mentioned, they relate to the overall scheme of things and how things are working. So, you know what I mean? I'm always open for the tough questions. I'm always ready to try to answer them, because sometimes people, just have a view from looking from the outside, and they think, well, why didn't this happen? Or why didn't they book this battle? Or why this didn't happen? It's not always just us being stubborn or not wanting to book certain things. There's other politics that are involved. Sometimes people want certain money that they're not going to bring back through the door, that there's not going to be a return on. And then we'll say, nah, I can't pay you $30,000, homie, or I can't pay you $10,000 today, homie. And then they'll say, fine. And then they'll turn around 2 weeks later and do the battle for $6,000, which was probably the price that they may have been worth. You know what I'm saying? So stuff happens.
I need to hold a forum with some of those battle rappers so we can discuss that topic in general. Why are you taking X amount of money? You're taking $5 over there, but when you come back to the URL, you want $25.
Right. When you're going to be more famous, you're going to get more viewership. You're going to have more of a social impact beyond just battle rap. You're going to get the stars and the celebrities who come out to the events, who are talking about the events. it's a different thing. It's a different monster. It's a different animal. Clearly, the numbers show it.
See, we right back into the same conversation we had earlier.
Because you have to remind people of the facts. The facts are the facts. Numbers don't lie. You know what I mean?
That's
the
real
numbers
shit.
are real. So the facts are the facts.
That's
you know
real
what I mean?
shit.
I got to speak the facts. Got to answer the questions. I got to defend myself. What if I just sat back and didn't talk so much and didn't speak up for when I felt there was an injustice being played against the almighty URL? Then everybody would say, oh, Beasley stumped. He's bullshitting. He can't answer the question. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure at the
You
bottom,
don't know the answer, Beast.
I always have the answers. And when it comes to this culture. You know what I'm saying? But even in this interview, at the bottom of this, you're going to see somebody say without any merit, oh, what he's saying is bullshit. It doesn't make any sense. But they will not go into detail on why it doesn't make sense. I'm always willing to listen and analyze what people have to say and think, and then rebut with an answer. But that's what people have to do. And I know that I talk a lot sometimes, but I just was always taught when I was younger to be very descriptive and clear about your points.
It's battle rap, so they even battle in the comments.
Yes.
Everything is battle.
Yes, it's all battle.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah. Sign me out, Bees. We'll be here for another hour.
Yes. 2 hours. 15 minutes of fame, man. It's never 15 minutes with E. Beasley, man. I'm always here to talk. I'm here for the people, man. Shout out to Uncle Ra. 15 minutes of fame. You are now tuned in. Make sure you listen. Bam.
15 minutes of fame.
You are now listening to 15 Minutes of Fame Radio.
Let's go.
15 minutes of fame radio.
We're now stepping into 15 minutes of fame radio. Yeah.
That's my motherfucking jam right there.